And that's what's, to me, that's been an exciting thing. Like, it's been exciting to be able to, like, just this weekend, I'm going to go spend the weekend with Brett Weinstein and like duke it out, like in private, in terms of helping the biologists see how their categories, they're not totally sufficient to understand these phenomena like religion or faith or all these things.
Yeah, it's like you have a kind of a ministry or an apostleship. This is what my spiritual father would always say, like, you have a ministry to comedians and people. Maybe you're able to get over here and talk to these these biologists. That's great, and put it into a language that they can conceptualize and understand. That's pretty awesome. So, did that come about through Jordan, or how did that
I mean,
happen?
obviously it came out through Jordan. In some ways, I could see that he was using different terms. Meeting John Vervaeke, who is not really a Christian, but has kind of come around closer to Christianity, is willing to engage. For example, like to get scientists to talk about transpersonal beings, like we say transpersonal agency, right? To think that there are actual wills that act on us, which is something that I think until not that long ago, scientists would be would have a great difficulty in admitting, but more and more, it's almost impossible to ignore it as we kind of see these influences run through our society. And it's the same with AI. It's like we spent a few hundred years now eliminating the language the humanity had to talk about non-human intelligence. And now we're building one, for goodness sake. But we've lost the wisdom that the ancient had to kind of understand these non-human intelligences. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great topic to kind of kick it off, and then we'll get into the books and the conference as well. Of course, I'm not going to forget those. But what did you what do you make of AI? And I know that's kind of a generic question because you mentioned non-human intelligence, and in the Orthodox worldview, we have the idea that there are other intelligence. There's angels, there's demonic, there's divine intelligence. Um, and I'm kind of agnostic, not because I think that anything is inherently evil or necessarily, I think they're tools, but I see the potentiality of it going either way in terms of a disaster for humanity, or something that may just be a fad, or something that's overhyped and not a big deal. What's your thought on it?
Yeah, well, the way that I tend to see it is I try to not reduce the AI to the actual system, right? To think about AI as just a computer system. I try to see the AI as, of course, there's the whole computer system, but there's also all of the structures around it, the structures of meaning that are kind of being invoked around it. And so, for example, uh, people say, well, is AI conscious? Can it be conscious? All these questions. And my answer is usually, I don't really know that. And I don't really care. What really matters is how we treat it. That is, I mean, you could ask the question, like, did the idols in the temples of the ancient people, like, were they actual vehicles for gods, or maybe they were just fake, or maybe it was a bit of both. Like, sometimes they were fake, sometimes they would really kind of be invoking these true demonic
So I have you
presences.
on record saying that sometimes they're faking gay.
Yes, right. Well, that's for sure. Especially
You
those
heard it
idols.
right there.
Yeah, you heard it right there. And you see that in the Old Testament too. Like, sometimes it seems like the idols are just like these pieces of wood that have nothing, and sometimes
Yeah,
it seems like they are these kind of portals for other
right.
intelligences. And I think that it's mostly the way we treat them that will manifest. So it's like, if there are demons that are acting through AI, they're not just acting through the computer, they're acting through the entire system around it that is making us revere it and ultimately serve it. And I think that that's where you see is that the tendency we have to serve this thing, and to immediately defer to it, right? You meet people all the time. They're like, well, Grok says this, as if it's God speaking, like as if God is speaking from heaven. And then because Grok has said it, I think that this is an image of a kind of desire to move toward a type of idolatry. And it helps us understand idolatry, actually, because it's hard for modern people to understand idolatry in the kind of pagan sense, because we don't have statues that we, open the nostrils of and blow, spirit into. Like, we don't have this idea that there could be a thing that we make that we serve, when it talks about that in scripture. But now we're literally seeing it happen. Like, we're making something, and then we have a tendency to want to serve it. And I think that it's in that context that it's a problem. And also, like, if you look at the bigger picture of what it's serving, then you realize that it's ultimately serving mammon. And so because it's serving mammon, it's already a problem. It means that all of the attention structures that it's invoking in us, the fact that, for example, both Grok and ultimately now OpenAI, they're having kind of porn bots, right? They're having sex bots that are sex chats that are, and that's because they need attention in order to make money. And so they're using the same type of structures of attention that the internet has always used. And therefore, there's a sense in which, in that sense, I see that it is becoming a vehicle for a demonic influence.
I've seen a huge drop in my OnlyFans since the bots have come out because I can't compete. I can't compete with Robo J, who's 10 times hotter than the real J. So
that's right. That's
uh,
for sure.
no, Jonathan is spot on there. I agree with the temptation of idolatry. I mean, one thing we've noticed in the realm of, say, debate and apologetics is that people will, especially the younger you go, they rely on it more than older generations. So they will sort of defer to it, like you said, like it's the arbiter of every discussion or debate, even though we all know that Grok, Gemini, ChatGPT,
Hallucinate.
like they're wrong all the time. They get things wrong. So why would we defer to this, like, not just fallible pseudo deity, but like constantly wrong sort of deity? It's kind of absurd. But and then I noticed too in debates, a lot of times you catch them using ChatGPT in the middle of a debate. So it's like that's cheating, but everyone's now relying on this. And I think you're absolutely right that the key temptation will be idolatry there. So